So yeah, we're live. We're live again. Hello, Mandy.
Hey, how are you guys?
How are you guys doing? So first, I want to say hi to Gladys and Marvin. Hello, Marvin and Gladys. Are
Hi,
you with
good evening,
us?
guys. Hi, good evening, Mandy.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
So yeah, we just finished our writing tasks.
I saw.
Yeah. So okay, so good evening, IFNG members, so our 37 Zoom participants, and we're just waiting for FB viewers. So come on in and let's learn. And guys, we advise you while Mandy is asking questions, you can also try to answer on your own, right, Mandy?
Of course, yes.
You're not just here to watch.
Yeah, put it in the chat too. Share it.
Let's make it interactive. Okay. So yes, how was your week, Mandy? Before we start.
It's been fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
but we can see I have a new. Last week I'm here. Last week I think I'm still. Yeah, I'm here last week in this
Yeah,
room.
you were there last week. Yeah, in a different
Okay,
place.
yeah. It's my second week here. So yeah, let's bring on our first candidate. Let's go for Jerly Valiant. Jerly, hi Jerly. Please turn on your mic and camera. Yeah, she's here. I saw her name. Jerly.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Please turn on your mic. Hi, welcome to IFNG and Mandy speaking. Excited?
Sir, this will be my first time. Sorry.
Your first time, but I hope you practice all by yourself or with other group. Okay. So before we start, could you please tell us what's your name, where are you from, and what's your profession?
Okay, I'm Jordy Bale Catalino from Tagum City, Davao del Norte, and I'm a nurse in profession for almost 10 years.
Okay, thank you. So I'm gonna give you Mandy now. Mandy?
Yeah, how are you, Jerly?
Hello, Mandy. I'm great.
Good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, well, let's get started. So, Jerly, how often do you clean your room?
Well, mostly if I'm not busy, and especially if I'm not in my work, I usually clean my room like 3 times a week.
Good. And how do you organize your things?
Well, if for the clothes, I put it in my cabinet, and also for my books, I put it in the um, where in the box.
Great. And when we're talking about the flooring in a house, what kind of flooring do you prefer? Like a wood floor, granite, tile, carpet, and why? What kind of floor do you prefer and why?
Of course, I would prefer a like tiles because it's easy to clean. Most specifically for children, I can just clean it and mop it every day if I can see stains around it.
Good. Excellent. Are you ready to try part two?
Okay, I'll try.
Okay, great. All right. Well, Jeff is going to put it on the screen and I will put it into the chat box. Let me admit these people really quickly. All right. And can you see it okay, Jerly? All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and read it. I think we have a little bit of a delay, but I'm going to go ahead and read it. Please describe a radio competition you joined or heard of. It can be a recent or an old radio competition. And you should say what the radio station's name is. What are the mechanics of the competition? Did you join? Why or why not? And what are the prizes that you can win? And you can have a minute to prepare now.
Oh,
Okay. So that is 1 minute. And Shirley, when
okay.
you're ready, you can start your answer.
Okay. Okay, I'll try.
Okay, go ahead. You can do it.
So I watched I mean like 2 years ago, it was like 2 years ago when I listened to a radio station. It's they called it MOR here in our hometown. Um I heard them. I heard it like they are doing some games for those people who are listening to their program. You have to like sing in a high pitch for like seconds until such time that you can stop. After that, of course, they are giving some mechanics prior to that game that you have to um, sing in a high pitch, and you have to um, like you have to um, what do you call this one? Um, you have to finish that time they are giving to you, and the prices I think they are giving are uh, like 500 or 2,000 pesos here in the Philippines.
Good. All right. You have about 28 seconds left. Did you want to say if you joined this or not?
Well, basically, I didn't join that game in that radio because for me it's kind of awkward, and also I don't have this I'm out of words. I don't know what to say.
That's okay. Do you have, okay, we can talk about it after we finish the rest of them. All right, so let's move on to part 3. So, Shirley, why do you think some media, like some radio or TV stations, use competitions?
In my point of view, it's because they want to like um, to attract more people to watch their programs, and also it will it would likely increase their profit if they have a lot of people who will watch their programs.
Good. All right. And is it a good thing to tax people who wins millions of dollars worth of prizes? Why or why not?
Well, it's it depends in some countries, but here in the Philippines, usually it's um, I think they have to give taxes for those who win um, that amount of money because what do you call this one? They have to help also the government.
Good. And do you think that, or I'm sorry, what are the benefits of hotel casinos to the people and the government? And do you think it's good to have more of these? So let me read it one more time. What are the benefits of hotel casinos to the people and to the government? And do you think it's good to have more of these?
For me, I think it will benefit the government for the reason that it will increase the economic growth of such country, and also it will attract more people, especially those foreign individuals, to come and visit um, the country. Somehow, it's very for the reason that it will those people who cannot limit their themselves of doing that kind of game would somehow what you call this one would somehow um, I'm out of words.
That's okay. That's okay. Our connection keeps getting lost a little bit. And this is our last question. So, were you trying to say that it might have a negative effect because people would become addicted? Is that what you were trying to say? I couldn't hear everything that was coming.
Yeah, that's basically what I mean
Okay. Yeah.
for that.
For like a negative side effect.
People cannot just limit themselves of um, having that game or going to casinos. Some people are got addicted for that kind of game.
Yeah, for gambling. Yeah, definitely. Good. Okay. Well, let's go back to part one and we'll start there and go over what your answers were. So, this first one is talking about cleaning your room and organizing and what kind of flooring you like in a house. So, it's kind of random, but all related to your home. So, I said, how often do you clean your room? And you said, well, mostly if I'm not busy, especially if I'm not in my work. I usually clean my room like 3 times a week. And this is a perfectly good example, but how about you tell me why, Jerly? So, why do you clean your room that often? Do you like things clean? Are you what some people might call a neat freak?
Okay.
So, what's the reason that you clean your room? Is that how you were raised?
Well, I think yes. I was raised for like we were trained before in our room like 3 or 4 times a week, or if we are not busy.
Yeah. Okay, good. So let's take what you said. Well, I mostly, if I'm not busy, especially if I'm not, you said in my work, but typically we say if I'm not at work, I usually clean my room. And I'm going to drop the word like because it doesn't help or hurt the sentence. It's just a filler. I usually clean my room about or approximately 3 times a week. And when I was little, we were raised to do this. My parents or my grandparents taught us if we had free time that we should pick up our things and keep our room neat and tidy. So, yeah, I like a clean room. And then you can be done.
Okay.
So, one
That's
sentence
the
is
answer.
well, it's your answer. One sentence is adequate, but I know for this group, they are going to push you to do a little bit more than one sentence so that you can always try to answer that why. Or if you can't answer why, you can give me a specific example. So you could have gone this, well, mostly if I'm not busy, especially if I'm not at work, I usually clean my room about 3 times a week. You know, now that I think about it, it's time for me to clean my room after I go home. I'll probably start by putting my clothes away, and then I might vacuum or mop the floor, and then I will organize my work things, and then I'll be done. So, yeah. And then if you happen to be giving the exam and you are like a mom or a dad, you're like, oh, I don't have to just clean one room, I have to clean the whole house. So, yeah. So we're constantly cleaning. So good. And you have some people in here um, that Mr. M is saying he's like an OCD personality, obsessive compulsive disorder. And it's not a bad thing to be OCD, but those are kind of the people that are obsessive and compulsive. They always have to have things clean. If they see dirt, they have to stop everything they're doing and clean it up. And then Mimi says, I always love to clean my room about 3 times or thrice a week. And I can say I'm spick and span and I want my room spotless and organized. So those are some good words for you too. Spotless, organized. I'm kind of obsessive with my room to be clean. Or you can be the opposite side and say, I don't care if my room is a pigsty. Have you ever heard the word pigsty before?
No, no, not yet.
Okay. I'll just type it into the chat, but it's a pigsty. Or if my room looks like it's a tornado
Oh,
has
okay.
gone through there, it doesn't bother me. I can live in chaos. So yeah. Some people like it neat and
Right.
tidy. Some people don't care at all because they don't stay in their room very often. And then the next one, how often do you organize your things? You said, well, if for the clothes, I put it in my closet. So since we're saying clothes with an S at the end, we're going to say I put them in my cabinet. And also for my books, I put it in the box. So instead of saying it, you're going to say I put them or those. So the books goes with the plural, them or those. I put those in the box. Um, and yeah, this is another short answer, but you could always say, why? Why do you do this? And you can say, like I mentioned before, my parents raised us to clean up our things and to take care of what we were given. So, and in my mind, when I have a clean room, it shows that I care about my possessions, whatever you want to say. Whatever lies we tell children as to why they should clean their room. So, yeah. And then the next one, what kind of house or what kind of flooring in your house do you like? And you said, of course, I would prefer tiles because it's easier to clean, most specifically for children. I can just clean it and mop it every day if I see stains around it. And this, Jerily, was a much better, more well-developed answer. You said what you liked, and then you said why. So you spoke a little bit longer and you did a great job. So good. And if you want to give
Okay.
more detail, you can say, I would like this color of tile or this size of tile or this decoration. Maybe you say, I like my tiles to be, very beautiful and have lots of patterns, or I like my tiles to blend in and I want them to just be kind of neutral color. So you can give a lot of detail. All right, and so let's talk about the radio competition that you joined or heard about. And you said, so I watched like 2 years ago, and then you changed to listened because it was radio. And so we listened to the radio. You said, I listened to a radio station and they called it MOR here in our hometown. You said, I heard it and they are doing some games. So since it was 2 years ago, we want to try to stay in the past tense. So they were doing some games for those people who were listening to their program. And you have to, so you said you have, but it's in the past. So we're going to say you had to sing in a high pitch for, and you said for seconds, such at that time that you can stop. So we can say you had to sing in a high pitch for a certain amount of time or a prescribed amount of time. This sounds like a competition I would hate. I would hate to listen to it and I would hate to participate in it. It bothers me to have that noise unless the person has a good singing voice. And you said you have to sing in a high pitch for a certain amount of time until you are told to stop. And after that, of course, they are giving some prizes. And you said there's something about a theme, right? It cut out a little bit. Did you say anything about a theme?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have to sing in a certain type of theme, like a genre of music, or not you, but them?
Of music. They can do.
Okay. Okay, good. And you said, so you have to sing in that theme and in a high pitch, and you had to finish in the time that they are giving to you. And they gave prizes. I think they gave, and so you said, I think they are giving, but it's in the past. So we're going to say, I think they gave around 500 or between 500 and 2,000 pesos here in the Philippines. And then you stopped, but you had a good amount of time left. And so then you added, basically, I didn't join that game in the radio because for me, it seems kind of awkward. And I don't really have this, you don't have this skill, right? It's not something that you like to do. Is that right?
Yeah. Right.
Good, excellent.
That's right.
Yeah, so if you have difficulty filling up that full 2 minutes, and I know you said this is your first time, but if you have any trouble filling up that whole 2 minutes or even a minute and 50 seconds, trying to get past a minute and a half, use those bullet points for yourself to help. So you don't have to say, oh, the radio station the competition went like this, I didn't join because, and the prizes were. You don't have to answer it, like those bullet points, but sort of try to tell the story with those bullet points. So we can kind of take it and go like this. Yeah, I haven't participated or seen many radio competitions, but I do recall one about 2 years ago that I listened to on a radio station here in the Philippines, and it was called MOR. It's in my hometown. And on this competition, there was a game for people who were listening, and they had the opportunity to sing in a high-pitched voice on a certain theme, like maybe country music or traditional Filipino music, or even, pop music. But they had to sing in that high, annoying voice for a certain amount of time until they were told to stop. And when they were finished, of course, a winner was chosen, and they gave out between 500 to 2,000 pesos. And no, I did not join this competition, and I never would join this competition in the future because this kind of thing is really awkward for me. I'm not a singer. I love to listen to music, but I do not like to sing, especially not in that kind of voice. And then you can be done. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah. I
Good.
learned a
Excellent.
lot from
No,
you. Thank you.
I know you're extremely nervous. I understand. It's okay. I'm nervous too. All right. So, why do you think some media like TV or radio stations use competitions? And you had a really good answer here. You said, in my point of view, it's because they want to attract more people to watch their programs. And it will also likely increase their profit if they have a lot of people who will watch their programs. So, we have watch their programs used twice. So when you're talking about a program, we can switch it to a show, a competition, a talent, whatever you want, reality show, something like this. And another way of saying watching a program or listening to a program, have you ever heard the term tune in, like TUNE? To tune in. So what I
Yeah.
would say is you can say, and it will also likely increase their profit if they have a lot of viewers who are able to tune in and watch this program or this show. So just trying to use a little bit of different vocabulary, and you don't feel this while you're talking, but if you go back and listen to what you say, then you can say, oh yeah, I realize I'm using the same words again and it seems like repetition. So let me try to replace it with some synonyms. Okay, but this answer was really good. You talked in the third person, you said people, they, and things like that. And you had, a good amount to say. All right, and the next one, is it a good thing to tax people who win millions of dollars worth of prizes? Why or why not? Okay, so on this answer and your next one, when you don't know what word you use to describe, don't say, what do you call it? Don't say that. We have other things that you can say. You can say, oh, I can't think of the word right now, but this is what it is. Or that specific word escapes me, but in Philippines, we call it this, and this is what it means. Does that make sense? So you don't
Mhm.
stop talking in English at all, but you show them, yeah, I don't know this specific word, but I know how to explain what this word is, and that's still okay. You can say, the word is on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember it right now, but it's when people keep going to these casinos and they just can't stop. Oh, yeah, it's called addicted. People are addicted to gambling. So it might come to you later, or it might never come to you until next week, but at least you explained what it meant. So you said about this question, well, it depends in some countries, but here in the Philippines, usually I think it's they have to give taxes for those who win that amount of money because they have to also help the government. So this is a very short answer, and you might have an examiner looking at you for more for clarification. So we can have some people throw some answers in the chat. So we'll have the chat on Zoom and the chat on Facebook, and then we'll come back to this one. Do you all think that prize winners, people who are just given millions of dollars worth of prizes, whether it be money, cash, cars, houses, should they have to pay taxes? Is it good that they have to pay taxes, and why or why not? Not do they, but should they? So we're going to skip to the last question and then we'll come back. What are the benefits of hotel casinos to the people and the government? And do you think it's good to have more of these? You said, for me, I think it will benefit the government for the reason that it will increase the economic growth. Economic growth is a great vocabulary, great collocation there of such country. And it will also attract more people, especially those who are foreign to the countries, to come and visit the country. And and you also, we were cutting out here, but I think you were trying to compare and contrast and say what the downside was of hotels and hotel casinos, or just casinos. Here in the US, you don't have to have a casino in a hotel. It can be on a ship. It can be just a freestanding building. So I think you were trying to say, on the other hand, a downside could be that people become addicted to this kind of game, like gambling and playing poker and wagering money. And it can cause the average person to lose all of their money. So you can say, kind of to end. So, in conclusion, yes, there are benefits to these kinds of establishments where people can spend a lot of money, have a lot of fun, and the government can take that money and use it in society. But it's at the expense of some people who end up losing maybe their life savings or losing all the money they had for that month. So, yeah, does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
That's
All
fine.
right, so let's see if anybody gave us some answers about taxing prize winners, because some people, they don't enter prizes specifically or competitions specifically because they don't want to be taxed. So no one has answered it, and that's
Wait.
okay. Jeff, do you want to answer
No,
it?
no. Maybe we can call because there's someone who chatted me. And Brian, are you here? Can you turn on your mic? Can you answer that question?
Yeah, Brian, you're on the spot now.
No, this is just only an exercise.
Yeah,
Or maybe
just for fun.
me. Who wants to answer?
Does anybody have something they want to say out loud about
Yeah.
this one?
Don't be shy. Okay. No one wants to answer.
That's okay. So, I mean, in my opinion, okay, so Salito is saying it's mandated by law in the Philippines. Is that what you were saying, Jerly, that this is law? So you can
Yes.
say that it's mandated, but it says, is it a good thing? So I don't care if it's the law or not. I want to know if you think it's a good thing that they have to pay taxes on that money. So you can this is kind of an opinion question. So you can say, I reckon, or as I see it, no, it's not fair that these people have to pay taxes on something that they have won. I think if they win and they are lucky enough to win it, they shouldn't have to pay any taxes. That's your opinion. Or Mimi is saying, she says, I think all winnings should be taxable. So this is kind of a catch-22. Like if I hand you a brand new car, but I don't give you any tax money for it, then you have to come up with the money to be taxed for it. So I know there's a famous TV show host here called Oprah, and there was one episode where she gave a car to everybody in the audience, and that's a nice gift, but it also comes with you have to pay taxes on that gift. And some people might not have that kind of money. So we have a lot of people who are saying all winnings should be taxable. Yes, it's good to be taxed on prize money. And so why do you think it's good? You can say, I think it's a great idea because the government can use that money to put into social programs or to put into education systems or to help the needy in our country. So, the more money we pour into the government, it can help raise the economic growth of everyone in the whole society. So I have no idea what I'm talking about, but there we go. All right, now your friends are all answering. All right, so my advice to you, Jerly, is to, one, not be so nervous if you're able. And to two, try to drop the word like unless you're using it as a word that's needed in the sentence. And then my most important thing is for you to try to make your answers just a little bit longer. If you can do that and try to develop your answers a little bit more. Oh, here's Ryan's answer now. Ryan says, I think they shouldn't for the reason that the person who won that prize can't enjoy the whole thing that they won. It will depend on the person if they want to donate some part of it to the government. So Ryan thinks it should be a choice. Good answer. All right, Jerly, do you have any questions, or Jeff?
Yeah, for Jerly, hello Jerly.
No more.
Is it your first time to speak?
Hello,
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
My
so
first
that's
time.
why. Hmm.
And I'm looking for sitting body.
She's looking
Okay,
for a
so
speaking buddy.
yeah. And how long you been with us in IFNG?
Like it's only, sir.
How many days or weeks you are with us? You joined the group.
Like days only, sir.
Days only. Unfortunately, so
Yeah.
for those who are, knows us or already joined the group chat, so please start practicing with the group. So at least you will have the idea, you have the techniques or know the formula that IELTS are looking for. So with that, you can extend your answer, like what Mandy said. And there's one question from Facebook Live that what kind of oral test is this? So yeah, this is an IELTS speaking exam. From his name, I don't know, I'm not sure, but I can read it from me. He's from Africa. So yeah, this is IELTS speaking practice.
Oh, he doesn't know what video he stumbled upon. Okay.
Yeah, and so okay, so in part one, yeah, you just make it when you will answer, just make the reason why. So what's the reason why you like that? Okay. And then under part two, this is just only a suggestion. If it's no money in the Philippines, for example, you're here in the UAE, of course, the examiner doesn't know our money except the examiners in the Philippines. So you can try to convert like roughly it's like $200. But then it's a big money in the Philippines, something like that. So at least you can also expand your answer. And for last one, because I don't know, yeah, I don't know, maybe it's just only the signal. So in part three, you need to speak when the question is already been thrown. So you need to answer. Yeah. So I think that's only for me. So try, if you still have time, just practice with the group in IFNG. Okay, we always send links. So it's up only to the members to initiate and do the hosting job. So we encourage you guys. So yeah, do you have any question, Jerly?
No more, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so I will see you in the group chat. Okay.
Yeah, Mr. M is right. He admires your courage to speak up and do the mock test on Facebook and Zoom. The first step is to build your confidence.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then
Thank you.
let's read the other ones really quick. So Eddie says, I'm skeptical about this since it's given as an incentive. However, should have a ceiling on how much should be taxed or not. For instance, winning the lottery, not everyone wins by the millions. Sometimes it's just a few thousand pesos. And if this small amount will still be taxed, it would mean less enjoyment for the winner. Wow. Great job.
Oh yes, Jerly, we really love your braveness and confidence. So thanks for that. And not because not everyone, even if they are good, but they don't have the courage. So that's one big % of your success. Okay.
Thank you,
So yeah,
sir. Hopefully
thank you,
I
Jerly.
can pass.
Yeah. Good luck.
Thank you, Mandy, sir.
Yeah,
Okay.
thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye.
So yeah. So let's move on to our next candidate. And I think this is Mandy, this is one of your student from Uzbekistan.
Oh, this is a student of mine? Okay.
Yeah, where are you, Patrick Johnson? Because I'm chatting him if he's in the chat box, in the Zoom meeting right now. Patrick Johnson, if you're here, just please raise your hand or turn on your mic, because if not, we will move on to our next candidate.
Was it John? Was his first name John?
Yeah, John.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, while waiting for John, let's move on to Ritz. Ritz and is it Ritz or Riz?
Riz, sir.
Riz, sorry.
It's
Okay, Riz, good evening. Where are you?
I'm here in Muscat, Oman now.
Okay, so yeah, please tell us
Neighbors.
what you're doing, and then what's your profession or what you're doing in Oman.
Okay. Hi, Mandy and Sir Jeff and everybody. I'm Riz. I'm currently staying here and living here in Muscat, Oman for almost 5 years now. And I'm working as a school nurse in one of the well-known school here in Oman.
Okay. Go, Mandy.
Wow, a school nurse. That's a hard job.
Uh, Not really here in the Middle East.
I can just imagine every day is very different. Sometimes I would have students when I was a kindergarten teacher, and I would say, can you take this note to the nurse? Just so they could get away from me for a little while.
Very same teacher encountered here.
It was a mutual thing, you know. It was a unspoken understanding. She was helping me out. So, all right. So let's get started on part one. So, Riz, do you like to be a driver or a passenger in a car?
I would say I want to be always a passenger. Although I know how to drive, but I want to see the place. When my husband is driving, I always look on the side of the windows and look for some places to eat like that. So I would love also always to look around when my husband is driving. So I better say that I love to be a passenger.
Okay. And what's the best seat on a commercial plane? What's in your opinion?
For me, I think with the seat, I prefer with the what do you call this? There's a huge leg room. I think near the window. I prefer near the window because, as I say earlier, I want to look around and always I'm checking if we're already there in the country that we're uh, are planning to go. And I don't know, I love looking at the window.
Good. And would you like to have a private jet? Why or why not?
It doesn't come in my mind that having a private jet because I think it's only for the privileged, for the VIPs, and I'm just a simple person. So a car for me will be fine. And I just, it's okay for me just to have a car, to just go around the place. A private plane is not for me.
Good. Excellent. All right. Are you ready to move on to part two?
Okay, sure.
All right. So Jeff's going to put it on the screen and I'll put it into the chat box for everybody else. And we're going to continue to talk about airplanes. So here it comes. And we'll wait until it gets up there. There we go. All right. So Riz, describe an airport experience that you had. It can be a local or international airport experience. You should say, what's the airport name? How do you get to there from your home? Where is this airport located? What does the structure and the interior look like? And do you like the services there? And you can have a minute to prepare now. Okay, so that is a minute, Riz. And
Okay.
when you are ready, you can start speaking.
Okay, there are two airports that comes up in my mind, but I would prefer to discuss about Dubai Airport because I have been there for almost I think 3 times. It's just a stopover. So uh, actually, I'm from Oman. So whenever we travel, we used to book a ticket, having a stopover over in Dubai. So this airport is for me enormously big, and I cannot go around because it's you have to walk just to go to a restaurant, and I think it's one of the known restaurant for giving such a lot of activities and services like gyms, play areas for the kids, and yeah, I love to go around because I see their chandeliers are very fancy, and I know almost all of the airports in the Middle East are like that. They're like they have these very nice lightings inside their airports, and I like their interiors because I think these structures are planned well by the architects and the engineers, and so I admire those airports like this one in Dubai. This is an international airport, so you will get to see a lot of different airlines docking, or I mean, uh, going there because it's an international airport. So I think I will never ever feel bored whenever I'm inside the Dubai airport because there's so much there's so much uh, thing to explore and to try, like their cuisines.
Good. There's your time. Good.
I think you heard my
Excellent.
baby sleep.
That's okay. I'm sorry for the baby. I didn't mean to wake it. I'm sorry. Does the baby want to come? They can come. If you can give a test with a baby on your lap, then you can give a test anywhere. All right, let's move on to part 3 really quickly. All right, so has commercial air travel changed in the last few decades in your country?
I think there's big changes now for. I'm sorry, I have to ask. Can you repeat the question?
Sure,
again?
I certainly can. Yeah. In the last few decades in your country, has commercial air travel changed at all?
I would say yes, definitely, because before there's not much airlines going to our country, but now I see there's an air traffic happening whenever we go to our airport. Like there's so much delays. Before there's no delays like that, but now frequent delays, and like you have to rebook again because the flights are getting canceled, and that's not happening before. So I think that is one thing that our government or the airport authorities should improve because of the massive tourism now in the Philippines. So we are well known of our what do you call this tourist spots, and a lot of people around the world is now interested in going to the Philippines. So I think the airport must catch up with this kind of growth of our airports like that.
Good. All right. And how do you think air travel will change in the future?
For me, I think they will develop more applications with regards to checking your flights and easy access. One thing I saw in the United States is that they have this TSA advanced, like you can go easily inside the airport without any checks like that. So I think one of the best advancement that is happening in the United States that we can apply also in our country is like that. So no too many checks of your baggage or something like that.
Good. Excellent. And What do you think the authorities in your country should do to enhance safety in terms of travel?
For me, they should add surveillance cameras outside and inside the building, and also personnels who will randomly check the passengers. And I think they have to like build upgrade their technology to like screen the passengers before they enter the vicinity of the airport. So we will ensure that this person is not like a wanted person or will do something harm to the other passengers like that.
Excellent. And that concludes the speaking portion of the test. You're done.
I'm sweating you.
That's okay. It's all right. You have a lot going on. This was some great answers, some good vocabulary there, too. So, we talked about cars and airplanes, basically, a lot of different travel, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and you had some really good answers. I said, "Do you like to be a driver or a passenger in a car?" You said, "I would say I want to always be a passenger, although I know how to drive, but I want to see the place when my husband is driving. I always look around. I like to look out the windows, and you can talk about the scenery or where we're going." And you said, "So I better say that I would love to be a passenger." I like how you ended it. You came back and kind of saying, "I should say, I better say, because if I'm not if I'm the driver, you might be distracted, right? By looking around." And I said, "Where is the best seat on a commercial plane?" And you said, "For me, I think I think with the seat I prefer." And you were also saying, "How do you say, or what do you call it?" And I know that's so easy to say because when I'm talking to my friend in Spanish, I always say, cómo se dice en español? How do you say this word in Spanish? Or how do you say this word in English? And I know I say it all the time, but you tried to talk around it, and you did. You said, "That is called the exit row."
Yeah.
And the exit row has like certain rules that go with it. I think you have to be 16, and in the United States, you have to have enough physical strength to open the exit door. So they said if you are pregnant, if you have small children to look after, if you're a child, you can't sit there. But it comes with that extra leg room, and it's free. You don't have to pay to sit in the exit row because you are doing a service for other people. And how often does anyone actually have to let people off of the plane? Not very often. So you said there's huge leg room, I think, near the window, because as I said earlier, I want to look around, and always I'm checking, or you can say I'm always checking if we are already in the country that we are planning to go. And you said, and I don't know, I just love looking at the window. So instead of at the window, we're going to say out the window.
Out the window.
Yeah, so I just love looking out the window. Yeah, you can say maybe you're a curious person, or you're just interested in everything around you. So, yeah. And then the next one, would you like to have a private jet? Why or why not? I didn't think you would turn this down, but okay. You said, it doesn't come in my mind. So I understand what you're saying, but a more natural way to say it is you could say, I've never actually considered this, or I've never thought about this before because I've never imagined it. And you said, because at the end, you said, I'm just kind of a normal person. And you said, I think because it's only for the privileged or the VIPs. A car for me would be fine. It's okay for me just to have a car to go around place to place. A private plane is not for me. So you don't have any interest in being a wealthy person with your own jet. And that's okay. That's good. So you did a really good job about on all of these saying your opinion, kind of giving a little bit of, um, developing the answer a little bit longer. And so, yeah, that's good. You can also use the strategy if you have them of giving a specific story. But I think, Riz, for you, you were able to develop it enough that you didn't need to give a specific story. It's kind of hard to give a specific story on the third question because you don't have a jet. So, how would you have a story about that.
You're right.
Yeah, so that one wouldn't work as well. But, about the passenger or driver, you could say, actually, the last time we went driving, my husband was in the driver's seat and I was able to relax and touch the music and, talk to the kids and just enjoy the scenery. And I even took a nap or something, whereas the driver is always has to be ready and always has to pay attention. And that's just not what I want. So let's talk about the next one, an airport experience you had, a local or international. And you said there are two airports that come up in my mind, but I would prefer to discuss about the Dubai airport because I've been there almost 3 times. And I loved how you said it's just a stopover. Not everyone knows airport lingo or airport terminology. What is a stopover?
It's not your destination, actually. It's just part of your destination. Like that.
Yeah, you're right. So there are flights that are called direct flights. Not every flight can be a direct flight just because some airplanes can't travel that far. So I could never take a direct flight from Florida to the Philippines because I don't think an airplane can travel that far continuously. So you have something called a stopover or a layover, which is great vocabulary. It's a stopover destination and you get to stop there for a little bit and then you keep going. And you said, I'm from Oman. So whenever we would book a flight, this airport, you stop at this airport. And you said, this airport is for me enormously big. So those words are great. They're kind of the same thing, but you could just use big. But I liked how you added enormously as an adverb in front of it to make it a little bit more interesting. And you said, I cannot go around because you have to walk just to go to a restaurant. And you said it's one of the known restaurants. And I think you meant it's one of the known airports for giving.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But, it didn't stop you from continuing to talk, but you said it's one of the known airports for giving such activities and services like gyms and play areas for the kids. And make sure when you say gym, we don't say gym, im,
Gym.
like him, gym, so gym. Gyms and play areas for the kids. And you said, I like to go around because I see their chandeliers are very fancy. And you talked about the interior. You said, I know most of the airports in the Middle East are like that. I like their interiors because they are planned well. Planned well is good, but you can also reverse it and say well planned, which is a really
Well
common, they're well planned or well thought out. By the architects and engineers. Great vocabulary right there too. You said this is an international airport, so you'll get to see a lot of airlines. And you almost said docking, which is a boat term. But yeah, good job. You said going there, not docking. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not a pilot, so I don't actually know. Oh, someone's got me on. Let me mute them. I don't know what the term is when an airline.
Yes, I don't know also.
I don't know. Someone else might know. I'm sure it's going to
I
come
have
up
to
in the
Google
chat.
it first.
Yeah. So you can say not docking, that's a boat, but when they drive up. Yeah. So when they pull up to the tarmac or when they get to the gate, people are saying landing, taxiing. So taxiing.
Taxi, maybe, yeah.
It's not taxing, but you need one more I in there for taxiing.
Okay.
It's hard to say. It's very hard to say. But yeah, most people just don't say taxiing. They say taxiing. And they say it so fast you can't understand. You said, I like their interiors because they're well planned. And you talked about it being international. And you said, you get to see a lot of airlines. And you said, I think I will never, ever feel bored when I am inside the Dubai airport. And I loved how, we were running out of things to say. And then you kind of are like, okay, how does this place make me feel? Or if I was to go there again, or, you could say, actually, I would love to just go to the Dubai airport and explore for the whole day, not even fly anywhere, just look and see all the different things they have to offer. So you did a great job. I think I will never feel bored whenever I'm inside there. And that's a great kind of conclusion coming back to the beginning of your answer. So besides the word gym, as far as pronunciation, Everything else that you had was great words. You talked about stopover, enormously big, fancy chandeliers, architects and engineers. You talked about the interior. It was an international airport. You talked about not feeling bored. So very good job. Excellent answer.
Mandy.
And then part 3, how has commercial air travel changed in the last few decades in your country? And I liked what you did here. You started and then you said, you know what? I need some clarification. Please say that answer to me, that question to me one more time. I don't know if that's allowed, but for me as a teacher, I prefer that you know what you're going to answer before you try to answer. So that clarification is fine. So you started over and you said, I would say yes, definitely, because before there is not, or there was not much airlines. So here's that where we go into the airlines as plural and then is. So there were not many airlines instead of much. There were not many airlines going to our country. But now I see there is air traffic happening whenever we go to our airport. There is so much delays. So are so much delays instead of is. Yeah, so there are so much delays, and you said there are frequent delays. So the next sentence, you changed it from is to are. So you got it. It was just like a quick slip. And then you have to rebook again because the flights are getting canceled. So I think that is one thing our government or airport authority should improve because of the massive influx of people. And you said we are well known as a tourist spot and a lot of people around the world are now interested. So you said a lot of people around the world is now interested, but it's people. So we're going to say are interested. And you said your last sentence was just like amazing. I think the airport must catch up with this kind of growth. That's a really good concluding sentence. Like it would be good in an essay. I don't know if you would have made it all the way through everything you said on part 3 before an examiner would have cut you off. But it's a really, really good, you gave a lot of information there. We did have one repeat when you said there are so many delays and there are frequent delays back to back. So just try not to repeat the same information twice. Jeff always catches that and I never catch that. So I was trying to do it before him. And then the next one, do you think air travel will change in the future? And you said, for me, I think they will develop more applications with regards to checking your flights and easy access. And one thing I saw in the US is this TSA advanced check-in. You can go easily without any checks. You're right. You have to have a big background check. You have to pay like $85 or $90 and it's good for 1 year. And you're right. It's kind of a fast track. I accidentally went in it and they were like, nope, get out. You didn't pay. So I was like, sorry. You said, I think that this is one of the best advancements that is happening in the US and can be implemented in our country as well. So yeah, that's a really good answer. And then the next one, the last question, do you think the authorities in your country what do you think the authority, one second. What do you think the authorities in your country should do to enhance the safety in terms of air travel? And you said, for me, they should add surveillance cameras outside and inside the building. And also persons. So instead of saying persons, we're going to say also people who will randomly check the passengers. And I think they have to upgrade their technology to screen the passengers before they enter the vicinity of the airport. You threw out like a ton of really good vocabulary right there. Surveillance cameras, people randomly checking, upgrading technology, screening passengers, vicinity of the airport. A lot of great words right there. So it sounds like you've been to an airport a lot, in my opinion. So
Yes, you're right.
one thing I was impressed with when I went to the airport in Ethiopia is that you have to be screened before you even enter the building. Now that can be a weather related problem, but in the US, they let you get pretty far into the building before you're even checked for security. And I don't know how it is in Dubai or Oman, but yeah, this was some great ideas. And it was perfect length too. Your length was really good. The only thing I would recommend on part 3, and actually when you're answering a few of the other questions, you love to say for me. So what are some other ways, Riz, that you could say instead of for me, what could you say instead?
For my opinion.
In my opinion, yep.
my
Okay, that's one.
opinion,
And other people can share them too. Yeah, go ahead. In my opinion,
in my is it right? In my perception or from my perception?
in my so there's from my perspective,
From my perspective.
or in my according to my perception. You can say my according to my knowledge, or with the knowledge that I have, or in my knowledge. As for me, I reckon, in my opinion. There are multitudinous, I don't know what word you guys love the most here in this group. There are a variety of ways to say it, the way I see it. Yeah,
Okay.
good. And you don't have to start with that. You can start with something else and add that to the end. Does that make sense? So let's use an example. So you said, I asked you the last question. What do you think the authorities in your country should do to enhance? You said, for me, they should add surveillance cameras. So you can say, they should add surveillance cameras, in my opinion. So you can
Oh.
add that at the middle or the end. You don't have to always put it at the beginning. So that can give you a little variety there too. Your pronunciation is really good, your flow, and even though you have everything going on behind you, you didn't let it stop you. And you're really easy to understand as well. So good job. Just work on connecting that is with singular and are with plural. And much and many is really hard to get a grasp on. So many airlines, yeah, I would stick with many more than much. I don't have much friends. I don't have many friends. Many is used more often. Okay. And Jeff?
Yeah, well, I'm just reading with a private message. I'm not gonna mention the name,
that's
but
okay.
it's actually related to you about the service. So you can just chat Mandy on her Facebook if you want to know about her service.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, for Reese, well, I love your start because you're very pleasant. And first, of course, we want to commend your courage, because not everyone has that. Okay, maybe they're just shy type. It depends on the person. So let's go on your part 2. Well, this is just only suggestion. You can like the part that you need to improve more is the transition of your answer. Maybe because you're nervous, you just jump around. So it's very, for me, very noticing that. And then your part 3, you also repeat like and I think. So please try to avoid. But overall, I love your answer and I think you seem you are a jolly person because it's also important that you need to look happy because it's contagious. So it will affect also your examiner.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh, she was so nice. Let's give her a good score.
So because it's pretty sound very natural, so it's really good.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, you came in with a really good attitude, Riz. Excellent. And I think that's hard to come in feeling kind of relaxed. So I attribute it to you being a school nurse and having to deal with children all day.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, you have all those ideas. So
Yes.
actually you answer in a different way that we think, like the private jet and even the advancement. So yeah.
Yeah, not ideas that I even thought of. So good idea. Good job.
So do you have any question before we move on to our next candidate?
Sir Jeff, if you think I can go on my exam this time.
We will take this as what do you call that? Now what do you call that? Because maybe there's only effect that you are being watched over the Facebook and Zoom, so might be you're a little bit anxious, but for sure you will do good in the actual. Especially, but first, my question: do you practice in not even in IFNG, or do you have a speaking bodies that you will practice a lot?
I would
Oh,
say, but because maybe being a mother, you cannot
um,
spend much time in practicing. But I do. I think for the formal practice, this is my third time. First in IFNG group, and then second to my friend from my.
okay, good.
And
So
then this is
yeah,
the third.
so just common advice: just keep on practicing because it doesn't matter if you did bad, but as long
Mhm.
as you keep on practicing, practice makes improvements.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but your tone, your pronunciation is good. So yeah, just be calm and do more practice if you still have time.
Okay. And I want to commend you guys, Miss Mandy and Sir Jeff, for doing this kind of sessions because this is very important for us professionals. Your help really.
You're in tears.
Yeah, when I joined IFNG, I said to myself, I'm glad that there are persons who are concerned for us who are taking the Ielts.
Because
For that.
once we were like you, so we know what's the feeling.
Yeah, we all nervous.
Okay, so yeah, thank you so much,
Thank you
Riz.
also. Thank you.
Okay, take care. So let's move on to Rick Mondi. Rick, where are you, Rick? There you are, Rick. I saw you.
I see his hand raised. There he is.
Yes. Please unmute your mic and we want to see you. Okay, perfect. Hi. Hello, Rick.
Hi.
Yeah,
Hello.
Rick, please tell us your name and where are you from and what do you do for a living?
I am from Uzbekistan. This is this neighbor from Afghanistan and Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan.
Okay, Mandy, go.
Okay, awesome. All right, let me move on to. You didn't say what you do. Did you want to say what your profession is?
My profession is I have my little own business. It's gardener and farmer.
Okay, so you're a small business owner. Good job.
Rick, can you make your microphone a little bit closer to you so we can hear you clearly?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Okay.
All right, here we go. So for part one, this is so appropriate for you. What kind of plants did you plant or grow when you were a child?
I have got many kind of plants. I don't know his names. How can I describe this? I don't know how can I describe these plants. Yeah.
Yeah, tell me, were they edible or were they flowers? Were they vegetables, fruits? You can give some description.
Yeah, it's fruits, of course.
And tell me, why did you grow fruits? Was it because you wanted to eat them?
No, it's for business, for selling. I am growing this.
Excellent. Good.
This trees.
All right.
Trees. Yeah.
Good. And what about, do you like to draw flowers? This is an interesting question. Do you like to draw flowers and why or why not?
When I have been child, I love it very draw, and I drawn. I like drawing cars and people and I don't know. I have never draw flowers.
Good, excellent. And do you think that it is worth the money to buy organic food?
I don't know. First, I have talk about my English level. I think I am very extremely user. I can use only a very common sentence.
Okay. So
Yeah.
so organic food is like food with no chemicals, no pesticides. So they're very, I guess you would call them natural. So, and usually they cost more money. So do you think it's better to buy healthier food like organic food, or does it not matter?
It's organic food, of course, and it's for healthy too. It's useful fruits.
Good.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. So we're going to go on to part 2, and I will put the question into the chat box for you. And I know this is your first time, but you're going to do great. So Jeff's going to put it on the screen as well. And once I read it out loud, you'll get a minute to prepare. So Rick, describe the best garden that you visited. You should say, what is the garden's name and what type of garden it is? What are the living things that you can see in this garden? And how do you get there? And tell me why you think it's the best garden that you've ever visited. And so I will give you a minute to prepare now.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, and so that is 1 minute. And when you are ready, you can start your answer and I'll start the timer.
Okay. My best garden when I have been, it's limonary. Lemon tree. It's I think fourth question, please. Remember me.
Yeah, what can you see in this garden? What do you see in the garden?
It's lemon trees.
Good. Are there
It's lemon
lots
trees. Yeah.
lemon
Yeah,
trees? Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Good.
very difficult growth in my country because we have not a lot rain and we have not a shiny country. Oh.
Good. All right, and let's keep going. You have about 45 more seconds. How do you get there?
Uh, its location, did you request?
Yep.
It's nearest the nearest Chartak River, and I get in my bicycle to that garden. Yeah, that's it.
Very good. Excellent. Good. And that's the end of your time right there. All right, let's keep going. So, what do you think the world would be like without plants and without flowers?
Excuse me, could you repeat that, please?
Of course, yeah. So, if there were no plants and no flowers, what would the world be like?
Uh, no flowers. I don't know. This time, technical time,
Well,
but flower. Yeah,
you would
but
have no
flower.
job, right?
Yeah, I think yeah, because I like my job, but uh, we are people, and we are always find anybody for job. Yeah,
Good. Okay.
anything.
And then,
Yeah.
do you think that the government should spend money to study different plants?
Uh, government. Uh, I have not idea.
That's okay. You can say, I don't have any idea about this. So that's a good
Yeah.
answer, a good beginning. So you can say, I don't have much idea. I don't have many ideas about this, but
But
um, but I think they should spend money or they should not spend money to study plants.
yeah, but I think should spend money. Yeah.
Good. All right. And let's go to our last question. Do you think we will have less trees in the future?
Could you repeat that, please?
Sure. In the future, do you think there will be less trees than there are now?
I think yes, but
Tell
I
me.
know, but I know why.
But you do not know why?
Yeah.
I know you know the word in your own country. It's deforestation. Let me write that one in the chat for you. I know you know this word, especially if you work with plants. Deforestation. So everyone can practice this word, deforestation. It basically is the cutting down of trees, and sometimes it's illegal, right? So there is a lot of deforestation going on in the world. And so, yeah, you think there's going to be less trees because of deforestation. So, yeah. All right. Well, let's go over your answers. So, this is interesting that you work with plants and we are kind of having plants as our topic. So, that's helpful, right? And I said the first question, what kind of plants did you plant or grow when you were a child? And you said, I have grown many kinds of plants. I don't know all of their names in English, but we kind of got out that you grew fruits, or you do grow fruits now, or did you grow them when you were a child?
When I have been child,
When I was a
Uh,
child.
I love it. I love it very apples.
Okay. When I was a child, I
yeah.
loved apples very much. Good. And then you can also kind of take this answer and bring it into the present tense. So you can say, I have grown many different kinds of plants in my life. I don't know all of their names in English, but when I was a child, I really loved apples. So fruits, of course, are what I would grow. And now I actually work with plants as an adult, and that's my job. So you can talk about past tense, and then you can come and talk in the present tense at the same time. So good. All right. And then I said, do you like to draw flowers? Why or why not? And you said, when I have been a child. So we're going to say, when I was a child, I loved to draw. I loved very much to draw. I liked drawing cars and people. And you said, but I don't know why. I have never drawn a flower before. So you just have never tried, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Maybe that's just not something that you wanted to try as a little boy. So, and flowers are actually very difficult to draw, although I think people are more difficult to draw. All right. And then our next question is, do you think it is worth it to buy organic food? And another way of saying this is organic food is expensive, but it's healthy. So should you spend your money on healthy, expensive food, or should you buy inexpensive food that is maybe not healthy? And you said, yeah, go ahead.
I think it's I will spend to organic.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
can say, in my opinion, it is worth it for me to spend a little extra money for organic or healthy food because I don't like food with pesticides or chemicals. I prefer my food to be natural. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. All right. And so we're going to talk about the next one, part 2. Rick, I do want to go over the word lemon. So you're saying with an I sound, an I, lemon. So So we're going to say lemon, lemon.
Lemon.
So you said the best garden that I have been to is a lemon tree garden. You said it's a tough question. You said it's very difficult to grow, or they are very difficult to grow in my country because we don't have a lot of rain and we also don't have a lot of sunshine in our country. And the location is actually near to me. It's near, and you said the name of the river, and I get there by getting on my bicycle and going to that garden. So good. This is a little bit short for the 2 minutes for the Ielts, but I think as you get more comfortable speaking in English and having longer sentences, I think you'll have a lot of good ideas. But you did start to use the bullet points there, like where is the garden? What's its name? What can you see? How do you get there? And then we're going to get to that important part of why. Why do you think it's the best garden? And you can tell me, as I said earlier, I really like fruit. So of course, this would be my favorite garden because it has fruit trees. So,
Okay.
all right, good. All right. And then the third part, what would the world be like without plants? So we can think about, what do plants do for us? As a gardener or as a farmer, what do plants do? They provide us with what? They provide us with oxygen.
I think without growth, that world. I think without growing, that world. I don't know.
Well, think about the whole food chain. So plants are kind of low on the food chain, right? But if we don't have them, what can animals eat? They cannot eat anything. So they will die. And then we eat the animals. Some of us eat animals. I don't. Then if the animals have nothing to eat, then they will die. And then if we can't eat the animals or the plants, then we will die. So you could talk about the food chain. You could say plants are an important part of our food chain and our ecosystem. They help us clean the air. As far like trees, for example, help take in carbon dioxide and they give us oxygen to breathe. And so without those plants, the air would be very polluted and we would probably have a difficult time breathing. On top of that, plants provide wonderful source of nutrition and food. And you can say, and actually in my own profession, we have plants and people have lots of, gardens and plants for enjoyment. So they give us a place to relax, and some of us use them as a job. So without plants, I think the world would be a horrible place. So
Yeah,
good. And then the next two, do you think the government should spend funds to study plants? So basically, should the government have money and give that money to people to study plants? And why or why not? So, and you said I don't have really and many ideas about this, but yes, I think they should spend money on studying different plants. And we can talk about, they can find out the nutritional value of plants. We can also use, for example, Chinese medicine. Traditional Chinese medicine uses plants to heal and to cure a lot of diseases or illnesses that people have. So besides just food, plants have a lot of health benefits for us. Okay, and then this last one we kind of touched on already. Do you think we will have less trees in the future? Your answer was, I think yes. And you said, I don't know why. Don't say that. Don't say you don't know why. Always act like you know, even if you don't know. And you can say, if you don't know the word deforestation yet, or if it's too difficult, you can say, because people are cutting down too many trees nowadays. The world population is growing and people need places to live and they need trees to build their houses. Unfortunately, we are not planting enough trees to replace the ones that we have cut down. So yes, sadly, in the future, I think there will be less trees than there are now. So, okay. Did you have any questions for me or Jeff before we finish? I want to say I am very proud of you for doing this. I know it's very difficult.
yeah,
So,
I am
yeah,
very nervous.
very nervous. Yeah. That's okay. Just like our very first student that we had, Jurley, it was her very first time as well. And she gave it a go. She was very brave and put herself out there. And you did the exact same thing. So yeah, that's the first step, is trying to talk, right?
I think too.
Yeah, and it's a great resource for you to hear lots of other people speaking and making sure you can understand different accents. And, especially we have people from the Philippines and we have people who are living in different parts of the world. So understanding English in different accents is important too. So good. Thank you so
Okay.
much. Yeah, I would just work on that word lemon, working on the word lemon instead of lemon, because it changes the meaning if you don't pronounce it correctly. But for the most part, all of your other pronunciation was very good.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Very good. All right, Jeff, I think we are finished.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much, Rick Mondi.
Thank you for coming.
Guys, yeah. So see guys, it's really hard for Rick because it's not his first language. So we really admire your braveness. So just try to watch more and read more English and practice to speak Greek. Okay,
All
I think
right.
that's it, Mandy. So yeah, Mandy, do you like to have private jet plane? Before we
Does it come with its own pilot? That's what I need to know.
No, it's just only private jet.
Okay, then no, I don't need a
You know how
private jet.
luxurious is that?
If it came with a pilot and free gasoline, I would say yeah, but no, I don't need one.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, everyone, thanks for joining us tonight, and to our 82 FA viewers and some participants. Keep on practicing, guys. Okay, thank you. Bye. See you next week.
Have a good night.
Good night.